What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. I want to talk about why do narcissists want people to think that you're crazy? And I know a lot of y'all probably dealt with it a time or two, or one time too many, with a narcissist. They do this because they try to take the attention off them or, take the spotlight off them so that they won't look crazy. So what they'll do is make up fake things about you, and they will start to warn people about you, and they do it because maybe they feel rejected when you turn them down for whatever reason. The narc, they can't handle to be told no. They're so used to having their way that they don't understand when a person tells them no, and they've already started to feel entitled. So it's like they have a hard time accepting being turned away. So what they'll do is make up a story that something wrong with you. They start to spread lies and rumors about you. They will make things up out the blue so that people will look at you crazy and stay away from you. And they do all this kind of stuff because they live by the if I can't have you, no one can. But what they do is try to destroy you and drive you crazy for real so people could stay away from you. They don't want anybody to get near you. And they know that. They know that all they do is tell lies. Do they feel bad about it? No. Because a lot of times it works because they get ahead. They pre-plan everything on how they're going to do it when they feel like you're getting too far away from them, or when you stop minding them, when you don't give them the attention they need. They feel some kind of way. They just feel distance. You can be sitting right next to the narcissist and give them no attention, and they'll have a problem with that because, again, they feel entitled to you. They feel like they own you. If you're in a relationship with a narcissist, they feel like they own you. Narc parents feel like they own their adult children. They never want to let go. That's why they feel like they have so much say-so in your life. Y'all hold on a second. Let me get my order right quick. Y'all hold on. I'm coming right back. Okay, I'm back. So sorry about that. Y'all won't believe what I ordered. I ordered a bag of ice because I had been out running errands. And when I got in here and realized, man, I forgot to get ice. And I think I've been out long enough, so I'm like, I'm not leaving back out. So I ordered me a bag of ice. Y'all know I gotta have it. It's a huge craving dealing with low iron. But again, I was on the narc and how they want people to think you're crazy. They do that so that the people won't get close to you. Of course, the narcissists know that you're not crazy, but they feel like if I make up something on this person that will turn people off, then I won't have to, worry about losing them to someone else. They know you're a good person. They know what you have to offer. or they wouldn't have picked you to begin with. But they turn on you in such a bad way that will really destroy your character to people. Now, they can't really destroy your character when you know who you are. They can't touch that, you know, but they know how it'll make other people look at you. And as long as that works for them, then that's what they're going to use, because that's how they operate. That's one of their most used tactics. It's not just smearing. I'm talking about they will start to, when the smearing don't work, they'll start to make up stuff on you. They'll pull anything out the hat and claim that, you know, you did such and such a thing. Anything that's gonna, just diminish your character. And it may lessen the chance of you gaining something, that you've been working hard for. They want you to have a bad reputation. You end up having a bad reputation dealing with them. Because everything the narcissist touch, it get dirty. Everything they put their hands on, they ruin it. But the good part about it is once you remove yourself from it, you could come back from that. You can regain your sense of self again and know who you are again. And then people will really see you, not the lie that the narc is told on you and the rumors that they spread. They will stop seeing that because they were only seeing what they were told to look for. Some people, they can squinch and they still won't see that in you, because your spirit is what stands out the most to people, your character and your personality. But if they can throw some dirt on your name and make people turn away from you and not want to deal with you, they'll do that. And it's not really because they want the people to hurt you. It's that they want you to hurt because they can't have you anymore. They can't control you anymore. And they don't want nobody to get close to you again. That's the reason why narcissists, they want to make people think that you're crazy. And they know that that really messes with a person's mental stability because you can't focus. You start to feel confused throughout the day. You're losing rest. You can't sleep overnight. You're losing your appetite. And that's the worst thing for a person, to lose focus when your mind is all over the place. But the main thing you're thinking about is what people think about you now and what makes them treat you that way. That's the main thing that they know is on your mind. And they know that you will get that type of backlash. So all they do now is just sit back and watch the show. And it's like they keep you in a place to where you're caged. You're being held against your will and falsely accused of something that you didn't do. You're being mislabeled as someone that you're not. They deliberately operate that way because it has always worked for them. A narcissist will smear you, and try to destroy you to people and turn people against you. But they'll also get in the way of the person targeting you, which is a dead giveaway, and it should make people think. But then again, this is how the narcissist will pull another fast one. On top of that, is by claiming, well, I should let them, you know, have their way with you. I should have let them done this and that to you. But that should tell you that I still care. That's a way of gaslighting you to make you think you're crazy, even more so. If they get in the way of people attacking you. Now, they've already plotted and pre planned all of this stuff, and you know they're behind it. Once you realize they're behind it, and you start to kind of see things clearer, and you know you looking at them different now, like none of this stuff really hitting anymore. I don't care what people think. And see, that's the part that ends up being a turning point of the whole situation, because now they see that you don't care what people think. So do what you do. Make your threats. Talk about me behind my back. You know, make up the lies. As long as it's not affecting my everyday life, whatever. But they'll dig even deeper. They want it to affect your everyday life because you're not giving them the time of day. When you show the narcissist that they can't get to you, they go even harder until they run out of things to do. I mean, that's just how they work. The narcissists, there's no limit to what they'll do, you know. Um, Narcissists, they love to play innocent. And by playing innocent, I was telling a story today of something that happened a long time ago when I confronted a narcissist when I didn't know anything much about what you shouldn't do. And I hadn't done my research, you know. So I confronted this narcissistic individual, very, very, very malignant, was quick to want to, you know, they'll take it to another level. I mean, they will fight you. They they will really push your buttons. And she had what they call a mean girl spirit, even though we're talking about a grown woman, you know. So what had happened was they tried to approach me in a way because they were angry at me for calling them out. And I mean, I hit the nail dead on the head with it. And they couldn't focus, you know. It just took them, you know, they weren't expecting me to say what I said to them because they know it was the truth. But what angered her is that I said it out loud, other people could hear it. And now it was all eyes on her, the way she had been making people see me a certain way. So now that, you know, I turned it right back around on her, she had this very aggressive approach. Like if she wanted to fight, you know. But I told this story so many times, but it goes to show that they could dish it, but they can't take it. They love to falsely accuse you, you know, to maintain control, to deflect blame, to project their own flaws, ultimately seeking to maintain their fragile sense of superiority and avoid accountability. And I am reading that on AI. And it's crazy because the thing that the narcissists accuse people of is what they are guilty of. They're guilty of all this stuff. And you could sit there and call them out. But what they do is they get a good support system. Mind you, they already have been in planning all of this. They've already told people about you. So they know they're gonna have those who gonna believe everything they say because they wanna believe it. Until they don't have the narcissist putting the battery in their back anymore, and they can finally see for themselves this person is not what they claim them to be. This person can't be, this or that. They couldn't have done that. Because a narcissist give off a different energy and people will feel it. They're pushy, of course they're controlling. They're very decisive, manipulative. Yeah, they're very guarded and very to the point to where you start to feel like you have to answer to them. They want to be that go-to person. Hey, don't belong here say North turn as many people against their victim. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm eating my ice cream. They want to turn people against their victims to silence and control the narrative. Gaslight, turn things around, to confuse. That's how they do it. Because that's the only way that it'll work out. That's the only way that it'll make them feel better. A lot of times they didn't even really want to take it there because now things are going to get worse and you may get further away from them. And they didn't want to lose the supply, or they wouldn't be doing it. Now I'm talking about in a situation where you have went no contact. You don't want to deal with them anymore. You have already told them how you felt, and you're pretty much done. And they have a hard time letting go. They feel played, It's hard for them to take that L. You humiliated them. They feel bad. And they even, they lose focus of things. They can't stop thinking about you. They don't know how to let go. And they have tried different ways to hoover you and, nothing works. So they go from being that way to just angry. And that's where all of the smearing come in at. Once they get angry, ain't no telling what they'll do. And there's no telling what they will say about you. It's really all about doing something that'll make them feel better. And they love to sit back and play like they're innocent. But just like the article says, revenge and power. Narcissists may also use false accusations as a form of revenge. That's what I'm talking about. Or assert their power over others. That's what they do. They manipulate others to look at you a certain way. They accuse someone of being something to punish them, to maintain a sense of dominance. That's what I mean. Been there, done that. Been there, been through it. They maintain a false image. Like I was saying, the person who confronted me, she stepped all on my toes to get a reaction because nothing else was working. And she got all in my face trying to push up a fight. And the moment I stood up to her was just something she was not expecting. She walked away. And where I messed up at is giving her just what she wanted, another reaction. I responded in a way to where she had got me so heated, you just couldn't turn me down. Like we was already there now, you know. And I started to express how I felt. I was angry, upset, frustrated. And that's what she wanted. That gave her dominance over the situation. What happened after that? People got to flocking to her and you okay? And patting her up, babying her. And it's okay. And don't worry about her. And you know why they respond in that way? You know why they reacted that way to the situation is because she had already been in their ear. But thank goodness I had a witness right there with me who seen everything from the moment she approached me. That's the good thing, you know. Sometimes God, he work like that. He'll put certain people in your life for the perfect timing. And that's all I needed. That's all I needed was a witness. All I needed was that witness. And that helped me to clear things up if I felt the need to clear things up. Sometimes it's good to have somebody by your side who, they understand what you're going through. And then I went on to read examples. A narcissist might accuse their partner of infidelity to divert attention from their infidelity. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm telling you, I may not be able to describe it in such a way as the internet does, but I know exactly what it's talking about because I've been there. We've experienced this. And they do that to control the relationship, you know, because they're going to cry wolf and claim, I told y'all, it was not me, it was her, you know, or it was him all the while. That's the type of mind games they play to fool the people around them. And it says they might accuse a colleague or incompetence to undermine their position or to make themselves look better. Yep, that's what they do. And that's what I went through. Of course, it happened in the workplace. And they do that. It's a way of projecting when they're guilty of accusing you. They know what they're doing. That's what it all comes down to. They may even accuse you of being a narcissist because you probably spoke on it or you probably called them one and they done the research and they know that it's them and they know how horrible it will be if they be exposed. So they got to hurry up and use that word around other people and accuse you of being a narcissist. They like, oh, I found a new word. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead on and just accuse them of being that. Of course, they're gonna be in denial. It's not like they're gonna admit to being a narcissist. They're not gonna admit to being toxic. They want people to think that they are just perfect little angels that don't do no wrong. And even when they do wrong, where that wasn't my intention or it's your fault because you're sensitive, you take things the wrong way. Well, I'll apologize if you felt that way. Sorry that you don't get the joke. I forgot that You don't really know me that well because they love to throw up other people, you know, as a way to claim that I'm just not like that. You're everything you show me. I could only judge you based off how you treat me. And that's what they don't think that you will ever throw back in their face. I'm judging you based off how you treat me. So how can you deny how you treat me? I'm telling you how I feel, based on how you treat me. Can't put it no simpler than that. And they will stand in your face and deny it and tell you, I did not do that. Well, I didn't mean it. Okay, well, I didn't mean it. So I'm accusing you of something and you're angry because I'm right. But when I accuse you of something, you didn't mean it. So if I tell you, well, I didn't mean to do that, so we're good, trust and believe they're not going to let it go. It'll never be a truce. They'll shake your hand and the other hand behind their back, crossing their fingers because they don't keep promises. The narcissists, they don't have no loyalty in them. Everything they do is just to maintain control again of the situation. And the good thing is when you're able to stand up for yourself and you don't back down and you don't care how many people is standing with them. Long as you let the narcissist know that you know what they're doing. It don't matter who's standing behind them. Tune out the voices. You know, tune that out. Let them say what they say. Whatever they're saying, they get it from the narc. So it's just like an echo at this point. It doesn't even matter. Don't waste your time responding to the naysayers because they're just going by what the narc told them. They're only doing what they've been instructed to do. It's like they sick people on you. And it goes to show how strong you are because it takes 10 people to try to bring you down and it still doesn't work. Yeah, you're going to get tired. You're going to get weary. Sometimes you may even just feel like breaking down because it be too much on one person. So that's a normal reaction to a situation like that because nobody should have to go through that. So don't even beat yourself up when you have those weak moments because trust and believe you're stronger than what you think, even on your worst days, because look what you've been going through. And the narc, they know that you're a strong person. Trust and believe. They get tired of waking up and they see that you still standing. So now they gotta come up with something to do this time around because I still haven't knocked them down yet. They thinking, well, they still haven't learned their lesson. The punishments is supposed to be a lesson learned. But when you know that there's no reason for you to be punished, then there's no lesson within that. The only lesson is knowing not to deal with someone like that again. Once you start to notice the signs, the red flags, turn the other way. Don't even give them a chance. It's better to be safe than sorry. And that's old law. So never engage in their lies, their drama, their false accusations. Just walk away and ignore them the best you can. They can't handle being ignored. That's the best thing to do when dealing with a narcissist, especially when they're trying to You know, they want people to think that you crazy. Say, I'm not gonna lie, I have broken down in tears dealing with narcs after a hard cry. Feel rejuvenated and energized. Yeah, because crying is healing. Sometimes I cry when I'm having a sensitive moment. We all have our moments. And I just cry, and you do feel better after that. Crying is healing. It takes a weight off you. You may have a lot on you. You may be feeling a lot of pressure lately. You're trying to remember a lot of things, and you're dealing with so much at the same time, and you just trying to stay ahead. And sometimes, no matter how hard you try, you still kind of fall behind, and it gets frustrating. But when dealing with a narcissist, they pile so much on you. It's like just a constant thing to try to stay ahead of, because they're always plotting and planning. And you don't be thinking, I gotta outsmart them this time. But that's how you gotta move when you dealing with them. You have to protect yourself and keep your guards up at all times. Cause you don't know what they're gonna come up with next. I mean, even though they do pretty much the same things, it's like they operate in rotation. It's a pattern. And so you just don't know what they're gonna pick next. It's like you just gotta wait and see, and just prepare yourself and brace yourself. And it's sad that people have to live that way because of an unhinged person that don't know how to just let it go. It all comes down to them not being able to let go. They lack um, self control. They completely lose it. And sometimes I think that they don't realize how far they take things until they lose energy. And then they just sit back and think, you know, and they hide out for a little while. They don't want to show their face from shame. But they try to defeat the shame and pretend like what they do is normal. So they don't have a reason to be shamed, but you should. Especially when you just go around hurting people and you think that you done nothing wrong. And then you expect those people to still be in your life. Keep accepting the fake apologies. Don't hold you to nothing. Those apologies, I mean, it's nothing without change behavior. So you'll have to always be 2 steps ahead of narcs. Yeah, they on guard at all times. All the time. Trying to get ahead of you to keep you from being ahead of them. And you're not thinking of that, but that just goes to show where their mind at, and that they don't have a heart. Because a narcissist could see that you just don't have the fight in you right now. And they will keep picking. They will keep picking. They don't care how it affects you. Think. It's like they only think of revenge. It's always about revenge with the narcissist, staying ahead. And they only, who are you proving it to? Yourself? Because people don't care about the things they care about the most. Like, they really think that people think like them. They really think you think like them. I'm sorry for all the moving around. Put these on a charger. I think they want people to think like them because it gives them a competition. It gives them a reason to stay in the game and keep being who they are. Because they don't want to change. If they wanted to change, they would. It's simple as that. But of course, they don't see the error in their ways. So don't expect change from a narcissist. They could pretend to change. They might put on an act for a little while. Before you know it, they're going to go back to them old ways. Say narcs feed off negative energy. Yeah, they feed off that negative energy, that, especially when you give it back. But they have nothing to feed off of, nothing to go on if you keep silent and keep your distance. And then when you have, boundaries, and they can't cross those boundaries, they have to sit in misery, thinking of a plan, of a way to get to you. But nothing works. After so long, that stuff doesn't even affect you anymore. And that's when, they may move on to another person. And when they move on, trust and believe they're going to always speak negatively of you. They're never going to have a kind word. It's going to always be bad memories. They change the story to fit their false narrative so that they can look like a victim. It takes away from having to take accountability too. Because when a narcissist tell a story, notice how it's always how someone did them wrong. And a person who got good listening ears, and if they're not afraid to say how they truly feel about it, they will tell them, look, well, you could have apologized, or, well, you was wrong. See, narcissists hate that. They do not want anybody to tell them they wrong. Even if the person know they wrong, they still want you to side with them. And you see them get angry when a person don't side with them or remain neutral. Or just be like, well, you could have done it, or maybe they didn't mean that. They don't want to hear that. So now they realize, dang, I'm venting to the wrong person because I say I won't be able to manipulate them. No, you cannot. They're not going to be able to manipulate everybody. And that's a good thing. That's a good day right there when they can't manipulate a person to see things the way they need them to, so that it could excuse their behavior. But I think I spoke enough to say that's why they use flying monkeys to get back at the target, because they're... Mhm. Yeah, they use them flying monkeys. Oh, okay. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, you clicked the comment. I was trying to swipe up. Hmm. Yep, they don't think about how it affects people. Narcissists will do stuff that will affect your finances. They don't care if it gets you put out on the street. They don't care if it makes you homeless. But trust and believe, when it happens, they don't care in that moment, because they're angry, they're bitter, they have evil ways, they're very vengeful. If you get put out on the streets, do you know if you're sleeping on the streets, the narcissist will pass you by, but they will not give you eye contact, for shame that they know they're the cause of that. There was a way they could have prevented that from happening. They have so much power to a certain extent. but they couldn't stop that from happening. And it's a dead giveaway when they can't look you in your face from the shame of, causing that to happen to you. They can't face you. They don't want to accept who they are because now people will know the truth. And all they could think of is, I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose this person. I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose that. It's always what they can get their hands on that keeps them going. They depend on so much supply in different ways. That's the only thing that keeps them going. And it's just an ongoing cycle until you're able to escape it. And like I said, that's the best thing that can happen to you. Because the narcissist thought that if they punish you enough, you'll surrender, you'll give in. And then they shouldn't even want you to, because they're angry. They feel like you took a lot of time out of them, what they would normally be doing. They have to, pay extra attention to you and do stuff to gain that control again. So when you give in to the narcissist, which I hope not, hope you never have to feel like you have to, give them what they want just to maintain peace, because you're not going to have no peace. It's going to be worse. But when you give them what they want, like I say, it's going to be worse. Because now they're going to also see you as being weak. And what do people, how do bullies treat people who don't really stand up for themselves or maybe considered weak? They pick on people who are weaker than them. They don't show them no respect. A bully is not gonna apologize. It's like you gotta teach them a lesson. First, you have to be, you have to have courage. You have to be able to stand up to them. You gotta gain some toughness to let them know, even if it's mental toughness, to let them know that you're not afraid anymore. And that's when they'll start to back down. Now, a narcissist is gonna always be a narcissist. I feel like I've been shutting them down. But they're still gonna try you sometimes. They're still gonna think that sometimes maybe this is, the perfect time for me to make my approach. Maybe this is the perfect time for me to, do whatever. They ain't gonna never give up completely. They might disappear for a while, but it's never for good. So, but that's all I want to talk about in this video. Why narcissists want to make people think you crazy. So, I hope y'all find this helpful, and please like the video, like, share, subscribe, leave your thoughts down below, and I will see you in the next one.